Hey, Kyle's Wonderful here again with another wrestling review. This time it's Impact Wrestling from August 11th, 2022, recorded July 16th in Louisville, Kentucky. So, as usual, we'll start the review out with BTI before the Impact. You can find it on the Impact Wrestling YouTube page, and it's a great way to recap what happened last week and a look ahead to this week's action. So, since I watch a ton of wrestling myself every single week, I appreciate this pre show that they put on. So, as usual, BTI is hosted by Josh Matthews and Gia Miller. The first recap is the wild main event from last week, where PCO defeated Doc Gallows in the Derby City street fight. PCO exposed the wood in the mat of the floor. Doc Gallows was able to choke slam PCO off the top rope through the wood, but PCO is not human, and he survived that, putting thumbtacks into a latex glove, then jumping off the top rope to hit Gallows into the hole to win the match. That was crazy. So we'll see if Gallows can heal in 8 days, since this match will tomorrow night at Emergence will be the 5-on-5 tag match where Honor No More takes on Bullet Club. And if Honor No More win, they will get all the title matches they want and protection from Heath. But if Bullet Club wins tomorrow, Honor No More will have to disband and break up as a unit. Later on, the Bti exclusive match today will be Steve Macklin versus Crazy Steve. But first, we see a recap of a match from last week with Deonna Purrazzo beating Rosemary, even though Rosemary had a 3-on-1 advantage in this match. Jessica Havoc ended up costing Rosemary the match on accident. Later on, Taya Valkyrie said, "Don't blame Jessica. She's been reborn in the darkness realm." Havoc being taken from the darkness realm, turning into this alter ego Jessica now. Rosemary and Taya have to defend their knockout tag titles tomorrow night against Vexed, which is Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo. So Rosemary's definitely feeling nervous about this one, with the new Jessica not seeming focused or even like her normal self at all. After that, we see the end of the digital media title match from last week, where Brian Myers was able to retain the title against Black Taurus by holding the ropes, cheating to get the 1-2-3. After the match, Bhupinder Gujar came out and attacked Myers, and Myers ended up getting hit with a triple team from Gujar, Crazy Steve, and Black Taurus, where Gujar hit the gargoyle spear at the end of the triple team. Next, we saw the match where Masha Slamovich finally got her hands on Giselle Shaw. After Giselle was ducking her for over a month, Giselle was able to last longer than anyone else was against Masha, but Masha Slamovich went on to fairly win, or win fairly easy, going to a 14-0 perfect record in Impact. Our social media top 5 for this week is number 5, Bound for Glory, being announced for a excuse me, for a Friday show this year in October. Number 4 was Masha Slamovich hitting the snowplow to defeat Giselle last week. Number 3 was Killer Kelly will have her debut match tonight. Number 2 was Violent by Design attacking Motor City Machine Gun last week. And the Guns beat Doring and Diener in a tag match, but Kushida tried to help, and then Eric Young hit a pile driver on Kushida. Then number 1 was Gallows choke slamming PCO through that exposed wood. That was a scene I've never seen in wrestling before. I've seen people go through the ring, obviously, but never with the wood exposed. That was pretty wild. And it didn't even end the match. The clapback moment of the week was Giselle reminding the rest of the locker room all of the first she got against her loss against Masha Slamovich, such as the first person to ever kick out of a pin against Masha Slamovich. So Giselle's trying to turn that loss into a positive. The Iceman intel was pretty useful this week. It's big scoop here. So after this is our like rumors or whatever, but after the Derby City street fight, Doc Gallows may have suffered an injury. There is no word as to how severe the injury is or if it will keep Gallows out of the 10-man tag tomorrow. But that is big news. There are no other Bullet Club members available. Everyone else that's not already scheduled for this 5-man team in the 10-man tag everyone else in Bullet Club is busy in New Japan with G1 Climax 32. So Bullet Club may be a man down unless they go on to recruit some of the Bullet Club legends, such as Hikuleo's father Ming or Scott Flash Norton. And speaking of that, I would love to see either of those two men in the ring with PCO. That would be a fun time. So anyway, it's time for our BTI exclusive match this week. Guaranteed to be better than last week's match, where we saw Savannah Evans almost break the neck of Alicia Edwards in a terrible match. Now Steve Macklin comes out first, the big booze, and Crazy Steve is out next. I'll be calling them Macklin and Crazy to avoid any confusion here with the two Steves. So Macklin gets a headlock applied, but Crazy gets out of it and hits a drop toe hold and 2 drop kicks, but Macklin fights back with some back elbows to take control. Crazy then knocks Macklin out of the ring and starts, before he's able to gain some steam here, Crazy hits a bunch of a bunch of punches in the corner, but Macklin rakes the eyes to get out of this attack. Then Macklin is a nasty backbreaker, and I'm definitely wondering if Sami Callihan's going to come out during or after this match. After last week, Macklin and Moose attacked Sami Callihan, but they didn't really injure Sami, so it might have been a mistake. It would just, in my eyes, make Sami even more mad without, like, they didn't Pillmanize his leg with a chair or anything like that. They just beat him down. So, I mean, it pretty much seemed like a bad idea or a mistake. Anyway, Crazy is getting beat up ever since those fingers to his eyes, but finally fires up with some strikes on Macklin. Steve gets, see, I wrote down Steve, and now I don't know which one it is. But probably Crazy Steve fights back. Man, why did I write Steve? Crazy fights back and then blocks another one of those nasty backbreakers. So, yeah, this is Crazy. Crazy then hits strikes in the corner, followed by a cannonball senton. Macklin's just barely able to kick out, and that would have been a big upset. Macklin now catches a move, but Crazy bites his forehead to get out. Macklin turns it around with a sliding forearm. Crazy gets put into the tree of woe here, and Macklin hits a huge spear to the exposed ribs of Crazy Steve. Macklin now hits the KIA double underhook DDT to get the 1-2-3. The winner of this match by pinfall, Steve Macklin. Steve Macklin mocks Sami Callihan here by doing the thumbs up, thumbs down, but Sami Callihan does not show up. So we'll see if Sami is on Impact at all ahead of their big match at Emergence, Sami Callihan versus Steve Macklin tomorrow night. So now this week's episode of Impact starts with a recap of Honor No More, and as most Impacts have started for months now, other than that one that started with the amazing Motor City Machine Gun highlights and the highlights of Shelley beating Shelley to get the #1 contendership, getting Alex Shelley his first ever Impact title match tomorrow at Emergence against champion Josh Alexander. But this going back to never mind. But going crap. But Violent by Design still wants to take out Motor City Machine Gun, so Shelley's going to need to be careful to get into that title match. Anyway, back to this week's recap. It shows how Eddie Edwards gave PCO one last chance to prove himself last week, and PCO did a great job, in my opinion, not only defeating Doc Gallows, but maybe injuring him as well, potentially keeping Gallows out of that street fight. So after the opening video plays, we start Impact with the Honor No More theme playing here, and it will be Kenny King in singles action. So everyone, including PCO, is out here with Honor No More, who are keeping their heads on a swivel, looking out for the Honor No More hunter, Heath Slater, who finally didn't attack them last week after 4 successful weeks of attacks. So this is a weird matchup tonight, as we've seemingly set up weeks ago a Kenny King Chris Bay match of former mentor and student having beef during the Ace Austin Eddie Edwards match. But instead tonight, Kenny King will take on Machine Gun Karl Anderson, one half of the Impact Tag Champions and the never open weight champion. So Doc Gallows doesn't come out with Anderson, so maybe Doc Gallows is injured, but weirdly, Chris Bay and Ace Austin aren't out here either. But the rest of Honor No More must go to the back. Maybe we'll get a clean match here. We've got 2 veterans here, over 40 years of experience combined, but they've never been in the ring in a singles match against each other. So Karl Anderson versus Kenny King, first time ever. They tie up the start here, and Kenny gets a nice takedown, but Karl is able to get back out, and they reset. Both are longtime veterans, like I said. The pace now quickens, and that favors King's style a little bit more. Karl's able to evade his attacks, however, and now they reset again. Everything's been pretty even. Kenny King now kicks Karl in the gut, but Karl kicks him right back in the gut after that. Then Karl hits a nice elbow, dropping King to the mat on that one. Karl now keeps the pace slow, so Kenny King can't utilize his quickness, but King is able to attack the leg here of Anderson by hitting it across the ropes, and now that knee of Anderson is injured, and this is the big story of the match. Kenny hits 5 straight attacks on the knee right after that. Karl kicks out at 2, but now will have a damaged knee for the rest of this match, and maybe in 24 hours for their 10-man tag team as well. Things are not looking good for Bullet Club going into this match. And Karl definitely needs to avoid any more damage to this knee. King also needs to avoid any injury in this match while attacking the knee more. They got a big match tomorrow night. Kenny King doesn't really need the win here, as if they get the win tomorrow, Honor No More gets all the tag titles they want, and Kenny King's guaranteed to get a X Division title match if Honor No More can win tomorrow night. Meanwhile, Karl Anderson isn't guaranteed anything out of this win or a win tomorrow night, but a win or a loss here to Kenny King might force Karl Anderson to either have to defend the Impact titles against Honor No More or force him to defend his never openweight championship. So there's a reason for Karl Anderson to keep fighting, where Kenny King really doesn't need to. He just wants to go after the attack for tomorrow. Tomorrow's match is much more important for Kenny King. So Kenny's still attacking the knee, but Karl counters a kick now and hits a dragon screw leg whip. So there we go here. King might have a bad knee as well, and he might not get out of this match without any damage. Karl now fires up, hitting some uppercuts, some back elbows, a lariat, and a scoop slam. Now Karl hits a running senton that looked pretty good, and Kenny King is in trouble. But King hits the knee again. Karl's in pain, but he's able to hit a running rocket kick anyway, for a 2 count. So something that Karl is going to have to avoid more damage here instead of but he's put in a leg hold here instead of tapping out here. Like I said, Karl might want to avoid having to maybe defend the openweight title against Kenny King or anything by losing here. Karl doesn't just tap out to get to tomorrow. Karl fights, gets to the ropes, and he's able to counter the next move, which would look like a Death Valley driver from Kenny King. But Karl turns it nicely into a gun stun for the 1-2-3. The winner of this match by pinfall, Machine Gun Karl Anderson. But unfortunately for Karl, his night's not over. Kenny King attacks him with a chair after the match and hits the knee even more with the chair. So wow, Bullet Club might be coming into their match tomorrow with the Impact Tag Team Champions Good Brothers both injured. But now Heath Slater comes out to make the save, as Kenny King was just about to Pillmanize Karl's knee with the chair. Heath makes the save here, attacks King a little bit, and then gets out of dodge before Honor No More can come out. This was a pretty good match, a cool story they're telling, but where the heck were Ace Austin and Chris Bay? I've watched the entire episode now. That we've never once been mentioned about, oh, Ace Austin and Chris Bay aren't here this week. That's all they needed to say. Otherwise, it made it look weird. We never do see Ace Austin and Chris Bay, so we were to assume that they're not in the building this week, but it just made it look weird that Heath had to be the one to save them and not his Bullet Club guys. We could assume that Doc Gallows was out injured, but Ace Austin and Chris Bay had to be in the building. Come on. Anyway, pretty good match, like I said. Good way to open the night. We now have a really, really good hype video for Alex Shelley showing his win over Sabin to become the #1 contender to the Impact title that he has a match for tomorrow. Josh Alexander says, being world champions always means having a target on my back. Shelley says, I crafted a style that was stolen by a generation of wrestlers, but I got lapped up by all of them. Now it's my chance. The one thing that'll make every single sacrifice worthwhile would be walk out of Emergence as world champion. So then the video ends, and wow, that was awesome. I mean, I am biased. I'm from the Motor City of Detroit. Got my Tigers t-shirt on right now. So I'm biased, but man, do I want Alex Shelley to win the title tomorrow so badly. And I'll actually be disappointed if he doesn't win. And I don't get that way with wrestling very often. I'm 36 years old, been watching wrestling for 30 years. I'm jaded. I don't really care about who wins, who loses matches. I just want to see good stories in wrestling. But for a rare occurrence in my old age here, I will be hardcore marking out for Alex Shelley tomorrow, and I really hope he wins. So I will be here eventually with the review of that, with G1 and everything else I'm covering. It might not be till Saturday that I can review tomorrow's Emergence, but I'm looking forward to that. After a commercial break now, Diener and Doring are making their way to the ring 24 hours before their tag team match at Emergence against Chris Sabin and Kushida, with Eric Young hot on their case about proving themselves that they don't have the sickness. Diener will get another chance here to weaken an opponent tomorrow night, like we saw in the last match, with a singles match right now against Kushida. So Kushida comes out next, the massive cheers from the crowd here, and he's accompanied by Chris Sabin. Kushida's looking focused for this one. So Sabin and Shelley, Sabin and Kushida want to take out Violent by Design here, and at the pay-per-view, so that Shelley can just concentrate on his world title match instead of worrying about their health. Or even getting worse, Shelley getting attacked by Violent by Design as well. So Diener and Doring want to take the guns out, and Kushida. That will prove to Eric, and they want to prove themselves to Eric Young. So both men are super motivated and have a lot of purpose behind all this. The match starts with a really quick pace here, as you would expect from a Kushida match. This ends up being a really good match. I was disappointed that Speedball Mike Bailey wasn't able to get a good match out of Diener, but Kushida was able to get a good match out of Diener here. So the match is quick pace at the start. Diener's able to slow it down with a few strikes, though. Kushida now hits 2 big Shote palm strikes. Those look nasty. Then Kushida hyperextends Diener's arm, maybe setting up for a hoverboard lock later on, already working on the arm here. Kushida then hits a handspring kick to knock Diener right off the apron. On the outside now, Kushida attempts to apply a hoverboard lock already, but Diener fights it off. Then Doring comes over, distracts just long enough for Diener to go on the attack from behind. That's when we go to a commercial break with Diener in control. When we come back, Diener's still in control, but they're back in the ring. Diener now hits a drop kick to the back of the neck and a neck breaker right after for a 2 count. The crowd now cheers for Kushida to fight back. Diener rakes the eyes and hits a loud chop in the corner, but this just fires up Kushida, who now fires up, but Diener rakes him in the eyes again to keep control. Kushida now gets a boot up to counter the next attack, then hitting a running forearm, I should say, and a Pele kick that knocks Diener to the mat. Kushida now hits his patented hip toss, cartwheel drop kick combo, and is starting to build some momentum. Kushida then hyperextends the arm again, but Diener then counters the next 2 moves in a row, hitting a face buster into his knee, and then a big lariat takes Kushida down. Diener now goes up to the top rope, but Kushida kicks him to stop whatever attack he was going to do. Kushida now applies a hoverboard lock on top of the ropes, just like we saw him do against Rich Swann. But unlike that match, Diener is not able to, Diener is able to block going to the mat here. Doring allows a distraction for that to happen, actually. So Kushida now just simply hits a Northern Light suplex with a bridging pin right after that and gets the 1, 2, 3. The winners of this match by pinfall, Kushida. So that was a really good match here. Like I said, Doring was better here than against Mike Bailey. Maybe he learned a few things in that match and improved, or this match was just set up better. But Kushida does have a lot more experience than Speedball, so that might also explain it. But a decent match here. One thing, it looks like we all know that Diener's the weak link of Violent by Design, but the other guy in that match tomorrow, which is going to be by far the biggest man in the match, is Joe Doring. So they're definitely Kushida and Chris Sabin are going to have to look out for Joe Doring tomorrow and try and double team the big man and take away his size advantage. So our flashback moment of the week, we see the X Division title match all the way back over 10 years ago, where Alex Shelley tricked Sabin into thinking it was hurt and then Shelley won on a roll-up to win the vacant at the time X Division title. So that was the first time we saw Alex Shelley and Sabin fight, and it wasn't until they fought on Impact a few 3 or so weeks ago when Shelley won again to win the number 1 contendership for the Impact World title. So in the back now, Brian Myers is talking trash to some random people backstage about beating Black Taurus last week, even though it was through cheating. But I guess a win is a win, isn't it? So now Bhupinder Gujar walks up and he challenges Myers once again for a title match, and Myers must feel a little bit of peer pressure here while just talking trash to all these people about how great he was. So Myers finally accepts Gujar's challenge after ducking him for a month. So they will have a digital media title match tomorrow at Emergence. I'm guessing it would be on the pre-show, and yeah, we find out later on that match is on the pre-show. So Gujar is undefeated in singles matches since he joined Impact in December, and I can probably see him being the new champion, even though I agree with Brian Myers with Gujar doesn't make a very good digital media champion. He's only got about 300 followers on Twitter and is not verified on any social media. Like the digital media championship to me is kind of a joke title that's supposed to be not necessarily about wins and losses, but more about your social media presence. But then it's weird because at the end of the day, it is decided in matches. So it'll be weird to see if they had Brian Myers beat the undefeated streak of Gujar, or if just Gujar wins the title. It's got to be one or the other. So after an ad break now, Eric Young is in a stairwell, and we don't see if he's actually talking to Violent by Design or not, but I'm assuming they were there. We just don't. Maybe they showed him. I was taking notes. But anyway, Eric Young's in a stairwell, and Eric Young says, "You keep saying that you revile the sickness as I do, but I've given you ample opportunity. Tomorrow night, there's only one option left, and that's for the designer to take back control. This world does not belong to them or us. This world belongs to me." So I don't know what that means. The segment ends there. I wonder if that means Eric Young will be in the match tomorrow, the tag match. Is he gonna take? Is it gonna be Eric Young and Joe Doring, or does that mean that Eric Young is gonna go start doing vicious attacks on the Guns and Kushida? So we'll have to wait and see. We don't really see anything else from Eric Young tonight. So I thought we might have seen him in the main event segment, but maybe this means Eric Young's going to be in the tag match tomorrow, or he's just going to start attacking people. So we've got a debut match next. So out on her way to the ring is the OVW wrestler Tiffany Nieves, who comes in for a second match in Impact in the last 3 weeks. But I knew she was in for a tough night right away because I knew that this was going to be the debut match for Killer Kelly, who destroyed Tiffany after she won that match 2 weeks ago. The lights now go out and they all turn red for Killer Kelly's entrance here for this match. The red matches her red hair. And we also found out last week that Killer Kelly has no remorse for any action she might do. And it's already been implied in the past that Killer Kelly is some kind of assassin. So, like, the killer in her name is literal. And that she has now we found out she has no remorse for anything. So she's like cold-blooded killer here. Tiffany now hits the first shot, but Kelly then takes a snapmare takedown and kicks Tiffany super hard. Kelly now unloads big strikes in the corner, almost getting disqualified, but stops right at the 4 count before the 5 would have disqualified her from the referee. Killer Kelly now hits a shotgun drop kick and a bunch of big kicks here. Then Kelly applies the killer clutch in the middle of the ring, forcing Tiffany Nieves to tap out. The winner of this match by submission, Killer Kelly. So this was a good showcase here of Killer Kelly's style and offensive moves. It did not need to be a long match. Tiffany's just from the minor league company in OVW, so you didn't need a long match here. The Killer Clutch, if you're wondering what that was, it looked exactly like the Sergeant Slaughter Cobra Clutch. And Killer Kelly does have an MMA background, so she is going to be an awesome matchup for Masha Slamovich eventually when those two meet. You know that's going to come down to that match. I'm pretty sure Masha Slamovich, despite her being so aggressive and stuff, is a baby face, especially because she just finished taking out all of the influence. So I think Killer Kelly is definitely a heel. She's a cold-blooded killer, so that's going to be a good match. I think they're setting up for that one, and maybe the winner of that will be a number 1 contender. I wonder if they're going to wait for Killer Kelly to have a few more matches, and I was hoping Killer Kelly could be at Emergence, but it looks like she's not. That would have been a nice night to have her just beat somebody that's lower on the totem pole. Maybe she could have fought Jessica. We didn't. Jessica doesn't really need a win, does she? But I guess we'll just wait till next week and see if Killer Kelly has any more matches then. But I wouldn't rush into the Masha Slamovich match. That's something they could build up to and have at a pay-per-view, a big Killer Kelly, Masha Slamovich number 1 contender match. So now when we come back from the ad break, we get a really long video here that just explains the whole story behind tomorrow night's 10-man tag. I've pretty much been recapping it all night, so I'm not going to recap it again. But it's between Honor No More and Bullet Club. After that, we're in the Honor No More locker room. They're all together, and Eddie Edwards says, in 24 hours, we have to battle for our existence. It's all on the line. We've been here before, though. We've been in a company where they don't respect us, but we're still here. Tonight, you faced you faced Karl Anderson and hurt his knee. This group isn't about one of us, it's about all of us together. But PCO, you also proved your loyalty now because of what you both did. We have the momentum. I have no doubt we'll get all the title shots we deserve. And most importantly, we will continue to spread our message. So they get fired up and the segment ends there. So big speech from Eddie. Will that be his last ever pep talk to Honor No More? Or will they be able to get the big win that they're looking for tomorrow night? They're definitely heading into the match with momentum. They might have 2 members of the 5 Bullet Club that are left. Everybody else in Bullet Clubs in Japan. So, like I said, unless they call in, there's the option of Hikuleu's father, Ming, and there's also the option of Scott Flash Norton, both legends in their 60s. But in a pinch, they can be called in to the Bullet Club reserves, which I would love to see either of those guys in the ring with PCO. So it'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. Maybe you have Heath join. I know Heath isn't part of Bullet Club, so that doesn't make a ton of sense, but it's definitely set up that Heath is the Honor No More Hunter. So now Madison Rain comes out for hopefully her last match ever in Impact, and she has taken over somehow the head coach job at the AEW women's division now. I have no idea why. So anyway, I've already had to watch Madison Rain in 2 matches this week in AEW. She also did commentary on a different show and was in if you count last week's terrible segment that set up this match tonight, I've had to see Madison Rain on 6 shows in the last 8 days, and I wish it was 0. I can't believe it. So Madison Rain is by far the most overrated knockout in Impact history, and I can't believe all the records she holds in this company, despite being average at best. So Mia Yim now comes out with her great entrance. Mia has been on fire lately, having great matches every time, but it'll be a struggle here to get a great match. They can have a good match, and it was a good match, I guess this match is, but there was no getting a great match from Madison Rain. I don't think she's had a great match in her career. So Mia now starts strong, and Madison gets to the ropes to reset. Mia hits a nice takeover with a headlock and keeps it on, but Madison counters with a head scissors. But Mia does a handstand or a headstand even, maybe not even with the hands to get out of the hold. Madison pulls the hair to block the next attack, and Mia tries 3 quick roll-ups, getting a 2 count on all 3 of them. Mia now hits 3 arm drags in a row and uses a misdirection to get a chop block on the knee of Madison. Mia now hits a drop kick, making Madison bail the ring. Mia chases after on the outside, but this was a mistake. Madison is able to send Mia face first into the ring post. Mia has a big title match tomorrow night, so she needs to be focused on that. But Mia must also know if she just loses this match, there's a chance it could be a triple threat. There's always that chance, so you don't want to take that chance. You want to win this match, but you still have to avoid injury 24 hours before a big title match. Madison now applies a headlock, but Mia strikes to get out. Mia counters the next attack and applies the tarantula in the ropes. Madison then evades a middle rope missile drop kick right after that, and Madison follows with a bridging suplex for a 2 count. Madison now applies a hold that she can hump Mia's head into the mat. That was awkward. Mia then kicks out at 1 after that, showing that she doesn't want to lose this match at all and isn't going to take it easy just because she has a title match tomorrow. So Mia's able to counter the next attack with a huge power bomb here, allowing Mia some time to recover from those previous attacks. Both get up at the same time. Mia Yim hits 3 attacks in a row, quickening the pace here. Mia drop kicks Madison into the corner, hitting a big cannonball senton, but Madison grabs the ropes to keep the match alive getting a 2 count. Madison counters a package pile driver attempt with a back body drop, then hits a crucifix pin bomb for a 2 count. Mia's just barely able to kick out of this one, but Mia gets up, hits a Pele kick, and that goes right into eat the feet for the 1-2-3. The winner of this match by pinfall, Mia Yim. So I guess it looks good for Mia Yim to beat someone who's like an 8-time knockouts champion and all that going into this big title match tomorrow. I already said that I wanted Shelley to win the title against Josh Alexander. I'm not quite sure who I would even root for in this one. I've been loving everything I've seen from Mia Yim, but it would kind of be bad for Jordynne Grace to lose the title just after a couple months after winning it. So she really hasn't done much, Jordynne Grace, as champion yet, and I think it would be a shame for her to just not be champion anymore all of a sudden. So it's kind of between a rock and a hard place here because Mia Yim's been so great. She does kind of feel like it's her time, but it could be Jordynne's time as well. And if Mia Yim doesn't get it here, then does it just go back to Deonna Purrazzo? Does Masha Slamovich get it? Does Killer Kelly get it? And then does Mia Yim get passed up and have to wait a year or 2 or never get it and go somewhere else? So it's always tricky to see what you want to do, how you want to book things, but that's going to be a good match tomorrow. If Mia Yim can get a good match out of Madison Rain and a great match out of everyone else, then you know it's going to be a good match tomorrow night against Jordynne Grace. Those two have a little bit of backstage comments in a second. But first, we go to the back, and Chelsea Green's talking to Deonna Purrazzo about Deonna's big bachelorette party that's coming up. And Chelsea says, sorry for not being here last week. I was just out planning the party. But Deonna says, no, it's fine. I didn't need Chelsea. I didn't need your help last week to beat Rosemary. So then they basically just say they're going to win the tag titles and then have fun at the party. Then we go to an ad break. We'll see if we get anything else from Rosemary, Ty, Valkyrie, and Jessica later. But now that I've already seen the show, for some freaking reason, we don't see or hear from Rosemary, Taya, or Jessica all night long, which is ridiculous. So when we come back from the break, this is the segment where Jordynne Grace bumps into Mia Yim in the back. Jordynne says, Mia, you killed it again tonight. Will you be good for tomorrow? Then weirdly mentions uh, we both lost our 2 tag matches we had together. I don't know why that has anything to do with anything. But Mia Yim says, well, you know, it takes more than 2 to win and 2 to lose in a tag match. Jordynne Grace says, well, I'm a former Knockouts champion. And Mia says, yeah, the shortest reigning champion of all time. So big shot there. And then Mia Yim says, at least you'll be used to short title reigns after I beat you tomorrow. So, wow, big burns, huge shots here from Mia Yim, calling out the shortest reigning Knockouts tag team champion ever, and then saying, at least you'll be used to short reigns. So that was some good stuff from Mia Yim. She totally owned Jordynne Grace in this segment where Jordynne did not act natural. She was a terrible actor. She said her lines terribly. Mia Yim came off looking like a star, while Jordynne Grace, the champion, did not. Keep that in mind for if Mia Yim wins the title tomorrow. Maybe it will be Mia's time because she does look like a star. This match tomorrow should be interesting. Maybe a heel turn for Jordynne Grace to keep the title, and that's a potential as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that one goes. We got a big match next, and it ends up being our main event match because the main event segment is a contract signing. So what did they have? Vince McMahon writing this show with a contract signing in the main event segment. But anyway, the actual main event match is a good one, and it will be for the X Division tag. I desperately want those X Division tag titles, man. But anyway, no, it's just for the X Division title. And first out is the veteran Rocky Romero representing the Chaos faction from New Japan, and he'll be challenging champion Mike Bailey, who comes out next, Speedball Mike Bailey, to defend his X Division title, the fighting champion. So this should be a good one. Speedball finally, for like the first time all year, did not have a banger match for once, his last match, but it was Diener's fault for sure. This one should be much better, and it is. This match starts with a fast bunch of attacks here, arm drags, cross bodies, all kinds of quick things that I couldn't write down. Really great flurry to start this X Division title match. Both men were fairly even and showed some great agility, flipping out of moves on, and then eventually both trying drop kicks at the same time twice in a row and just like hitting nothing because they both tried the drop kick. After that, Rocky then gets rolled up for a 2 count, and Rocky Rocky rolls up Speedball for a 2 count, and Rocky's basically says it was that close, and basically saying, don't mess around with me, Speedball, because I can take you out in 3 seconds. So Rocky now slows the pace down, but Mike just picks it right back up, hitting a head springboard kick and then a kick combo, finishing with the drop kick. Rocky now just barely able to evade a moonsault outside of the ring, but Mike incredibly flips out of a Hurricane Rana to avoid damage. That was incredible. So I'm thinking Mike Bailey's so good. He should probably be X Division champion for like over a year, just defend the title every other week. This guy is so amazing. One of the top 10 wrestlers in the world, in my opinion, of all of 2022 so far is Speedball Mike Bailey. We come back from it, we go to an ad break right after that amazing. He just flipped right out of a Hurricane Rana, landing back on his feet. So then when we come back from a break after that, they're both trading chops in the ring. Loud chops here. The fight spills back out of the ring, and Rocky ducks under a roundhouse kick, and Speedball kicks the ring post hard. Wow, that could have shattered bones. That could have ended the X Division reign right there of Speedball Mike Bailey. So hopefully he isn't injured from that. Rocky now sees his chance to win the title and attacks the arm now. So multiple body parts can be damaged now. Rocky hits a back elbow that then lines up for the forever clotheslines, but only hits 2 of them in a row before Mike Bailey charges out of the corner with a shotgun drop kick, only using his good leg on that one. So now Mike hits a kicking combo and a standing shooting star press that looked amazing. Holy crap. Rocky's just barely able to kick out at 2. There was so much fluid. Oh my gosh, the spin, the pace of the spins on that standing shooting star press is insane. That move legitimately looks like it would knock the wind out of you for at least 2 days. Rocky now counters a handspring move by kicking Mike while he was upside down on his hands. That looked cool. Rocky now applies a hold on the arm again, but Mike is able to get out. Rocky hits a big ropes-assisted DDT right after that. Speedball gets up, hits some rapid kicks here, but Rocky hits a big lariat. Rocky now charges in, but Speedball hits a big super kick. Both men are down now as we go to a second commercial break, and this is by far the match of the night, not even close. it's been a great match so far, and it's not even over. So it looks like Speedball avoided major damage when he kicked the knee, when he kicked the ring post earlier, which is definitely a good thing, because the winner of this match has to defend the X Division title against Jack Evans tomorrow night at Emergence. So once we come back from the commercial break, both men are charging, exchanging kicks to the leg here. Both hit big kicks and absorb big kicks. Rocky now gets Mike out of the ring and dives right on the mic right after, but Speedball counters with answers back, I should say, right after that with an Asahi moonsault. Rocky battles back in the ring now, hitting a springboard drop kick, and Rocky hits a kick combo but misses his enziguri kick. Then Mike takes control with a kick, hitting a backflip knee stomp right after that, followed by a nasty round kick to the head of Rocky, almost knocking Rocky out. But Rocky counters the next move, applying an armbar. Mike is able to turn the hold into a pin for a 2 count. Rocky now hits a jumping knee strike and a Shiranui. It's kind of like the Destino, but it looked cool, and it was a flipping move, landing Mike on the back of his head hard. Mike kicks out at 2, and both now battle back and forth again, but Mike counters forever clotheslines here with a big kick. Then Speedball hits Ultimate Weapon off the middle rope for the 1-2-3, the big knee stomp there. The winner of this match, and still Impact X Division champion, Speedball Mike Bailey. So wow, definitely go watch this match. This match is phenomenal. Rocky gets right into Speedball's face after the match, but it was just his way of showing respect. He then raises Speedball's arm, bows to him, and gives the ring to Speedball Mike Bailey. So we'll see Speedball in action again tomorrow night at Emergence against Jack Evans, who's an aerial beast. So that match is guaranteed to be awesome. I'm pretty. Jack Evans is one of those guys that'll just tell Speedball, "Yeah, just kick me as hard as you can, bro." And so that we're with Jack Evans might get knocked kicked unconscious, because Jack Evans is the kind of guy that just tell Speedball, "Yeah, just give me your hardest roundhouse kick to the head. I don't care." And Jack Evans might legitimately get knocked out tomorrow. So that should be a pretty good match. I'll give Jack Evans credit. He's the kind of guy that'll say, "Hit me as hard as you can." So now it is confirmed that it will be the Digital Media Championship on the pre-show. No problem with that. That's kind of a joke title. What I have a problem with is the Knockouts tag title that we've been building up for weeks is also on the pre-show. So what the heck? I mean, I'm just going to watch both back to back. I'll be reviewing both back to back, but I gotta imagine at least half the people that are gonna watch Emergence aren't gonna watch the pre-show. So what the heck is that? That's ridiculous. Why can't it be Sami Callihan against Steve Macklin on the pre-show, or that Bandito match, which is sure to be a good match, but Bandito's not even in TNA. So how does he get his match on the main show when the women's tag title match is not? That's crap. That's BS. That's trash. Like I said, the digital media title is a joke. It belongs on the pre-show, but a big time disrespect to the Knockouts division having the tag titles on the pre-show. That's crap. So anyway, so like I said, we just saw the main event match, but that's not the main event segment. So next will be the contract signing for Alex Shelley and Josh Alexander's big Impact World title match tomorrow. So I'm thinking this better have some big story out of it, because it's a very Vince McMahon move to have your main event segment be a contract signing. No huge stories come out of this, just some good talking back and forth, and I guess it did hype me up more for the match tomorrow. So. And when we get back from break, I was hoping to at least check in on Rosemary, Taya Valkyrie, and Jessica Havoc, but nope, we just go right to the ring, and Scott D'Amore's already there, and this is all we're going to get for the rest of Impact. So no Rosemary, Taya Valkyrie, or Jessica on the go-home show for Emergence, and their Knockouts tag title match got moved to the pre-show. So that is crap. That's one of the big matches I was looking forward to, something that they've been building up with this whole excursion to the darkness realm and bringing Jessica in, and they have the tag titles and against two of the best, or at least one of the best, Deonna Purrazzo and their friend Chelsea Green. But nope, we don't barely get anything on that for the go home show. We don't even see the tag team champions, and now they're going to be on the pre-show, which is crap. So Scott D'Amore's in the ring, and he talks about how much he loves both Josh Alexander and Alex Shelley. He introduces Alex Shelley first, who will be getting his first ever Impact title shot. The crowd loves Alex Shelley, so do I. But I'm also from Detroit, so I am biased for sure. Josh Alexander comes out next, and this is a huge match, but I don't think it necessarily needed a contract signing in the main event segment. But this segment ends up being pretty good anyway. Scott D'Amore says, I don't use this lightly, but this is a dream match. I'm excited to make it official. I don't know if it's really a dream match. Come on, Scott D'Amore. But I get what Scott D'Amore's saying. He helped both men train and become big and impact. So it's a dream match for Scott D'Amore, but it's not a dream match for anybody else. That's for sure. Josh Alexander says, nobody is more excited for this match than me. I've wanted this match for a long time, and it will be a hell of a match. The first time I ever bought a ticket to a wrestling show was in 2005. Shelley, you were on the card that night, and you stood out more than anyone else. And um, you were unafraid to be unique. You had the talent, but you dared to be original in this unoriginal business. To say after that, the day after that show, I saw Alex Shelley in the ring for the first time. I went to wrestling school. No joke. I started my wrestling journey the day after that. 17 years later, I've now faced hundreds of the Alex Shelley copycats, and I'm excited to get in the ring tomorrow with the real Alex Shelley. But it will be my honor to beat Alex Shelley. So now Alex Shelley says, we've both been X Division champions. We're both part of great tag team great tag teams in Impact, although Motor City Machine Guns were way better. You've done something I've never been able to do. You are the Impact champion, and you've beaten them all. And you just said you're going to beat me. Before that, you talked about the Alex Shelley copycats. Well, Josh, what makes you think you're any different than those clones? Josh Alexander says, well, I'm more of a Chris Sabin guy, someone who's actually won the big one before. How is it that you've never been able to win the big one? Unless it's self-sabotage. I don't see why you wouldn't have. This title comes with pressure and responsibility, and I think you're scared of that. I hope you're over that because I want Alex Shelley at his best. But your best still hasn't been good enough to win the big one in the past. Alex Shelley then says, well, I've had 0 world title shots in Impact Wrestling. I've been up and down, sure, in the last 20 years. And I won't argue about your career. You might be the champion, but Chris Sabin, he represents this company better than you ever could. He's had 3 knee surgeries and still leads this company to greater heights. You have a hurt neck, many other hurt body parts, but tomorrow it's going to be your psyche that will be your downfall. You'll be in the ring with your hero, Alex Shelley, the man you joined wrestling school the day after seeing. But you know what I'll see across the ring from me? Just an Alex Shelley mark. Let me sign the contract. Here's your Alex Shelley autograph, Josh. And then Alex Shelley leaves. So, wow, mic drop, pipe bomb. Alex Shelley with the great response here, especially after Josh Alexander was a dick last week. Big time dickhead to Alex Shelley last week, and kind of a dickhead tonight as well. So Alex Shelley putting him in his place. I thought that was great. Again, I'm biased being from Detroit, but I loved that. So that was awesome. Sit down and shut up, Josh, you filthy mark. I might be an Alex Shelley mark as well, but I'm not the world champion about to fight Alex Shelley. So I think Alex definitely got Josh back for last week for sure. And we'll see if those mind games work for Alex Shelley tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see. I'm really excited for that. I'm excited for the rest of Emergence. I probably won't be able to review Emergence till Saturday because of G1 and all the other things that are on Friday nights. But don't worry, I will have that Emergence review up this weekend for sure. So another so-so episode of Impact here. That's kind of 2 weeks in a row of just kind of average episodes. At least we did get a banger match this week with Speedball Mike Bailey defending the X Division title against Rocky Romero. But again, where's Alan Angels? We only saw him that one time on his debut. Would have loved to see having an Alan Angels like Trey Miguel match or Laredo Kid match one of these last 2 weeks would have instantly made those shows better. But most importantly was my complaints about the women's tag title, the Knockouts tag title. Where was Rosemary, Taya Valkyrie, and Jessica? They didn't even get one little 15-second segment. So that's crap. And they got moved to the pre-show. So before I get going, let's look over the Emergence card for tomorrow night. It will be Josh Alexander defending the Impact World Championship in the main event against Alex Shelley. Jordan Grace will be defending the Impact Knockouts World Championship against Mia Yim. Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie will defend the Knockouts World Tag Team titles on the damn pre-show against Vexed, which is Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo. Rocky Romero fails to make it to this match, so it will be Mike Bailey, Speedball Mike Bailey defending the Impact X Division title tomorrow night against Jack Evans. Then we'll see Bandito take on Ray Horace. That's a match I thought deserves to be on the pre-show more than the Knockouts Women Tag title. I get that it's a big attraction. That's going to be a great match, and it's an attraction to get people to buy your pay-per-view. But it's still, I guess you could have put it on the pre-show, get people hyped. People might see, oh, look, Bandito, Ray Horace, that's on. Oh, there's a pay-per-view. Let me get it. So I don't know. Anyway, Sami Callihan takes on Steve Macklin tomorrow night, and then one of the bigger matches, Bullet Club, which is going to be represented by Chris Bay, Doc Gallows, Karl Anderson, Ace Austin, and Hikuleo, taking on Honor No More, which is, I think last time we saw Kenny King was the one sitting out. That could change, and so could the other one. Both Good brothers are now maybe out with an injury. Maybe Heath Slater could replace Doc Gallows. I'm not sure how that'll work, if they'll actually have to be part of Bullet Club. I guess they could have Heath be a Bullet Club member for one night. Otherwise, there's no other Bullet Club members not in Japan busy right now, other than the legends of Bullet Club, Hikuleo's father, Ming, and Scott Flash Norton. So those are literally the only two other Bullet Club guys it could possibly be if one of those guys is injured, but they could just make it be Heath instead. And then also we'll be seeing Chris Sabin and Kushida take on Violent by Design. It's scheduled to be Diener and Joe Doring, but we did see Eric Young say something weird. We don't know if that means Eric Young's going to replace Diener in the match, or if that just means Eric Young's going to attack them at some point. Probably the second one, and it'll end up being Diener and Doring, but I much rather would have that match be Eric Young and Joe Doring. Diener is just not that good. So, yeah, that's basically all I've got. I will be back at some point, I think, on Saturday. Give me a subscribe so you don't miss out on the Emergence review this Saturday. But that card is on Friday. Don't forget to check it out. The pre-show starts at 7:30 on the YouTube page, and then the show you can find as well. So thanks for tuning in. I'll be here for tomorrow night for that. Don't miss all my G1 coverage as well. I've got all 15 nights of G1 reviewed on this channel, along with all the backstage comments and separate videos. So check those out if you're interested in New Japan. Anyway, I'm going to get going. Thanks for tuning in, and you guys have a good weekend. Peace.